Astronomy is the oldest science studied by man, and it's deservingly so. Look up and you'll see countless stars drifting throughout the night sky. It often occurs to me during astronomical observation sessions that why is astronomy so old and so studied? Well, before the advent of modern technology, our ancestors peered into the heavens. Something unattainable, something majestic, something beyond their grasp, but yet infinitely beautiful. We'll be taking a look at various objects we'll be seeing tonight, or perhaps something we might not be able to see tonight. Many would have heard of the North Star, Polaris, guiding sailors ashore to the north. Singapore is slightly above the equator. The North Star, however, is located close to the poles of the Earth. In Singapore, the North Star sits just above the horizon, perpetually obscured by our concrete jungle. But fret not, for there are tons of other interesting objects in the night sky. With our geographical bearings settled, we can start finding our way in the cosmos. The uninitiated observer might be perplexed by the flipped east and west, which on inspection is the intuitive result of looking up instead of downwards like on a map. Moving upwards from Polaris, we reach a group of stars shaped like a W. This is the constellation Cassiopeia, named after the vain queen of Ethiopia in Greek mythology. She is paired with her husband and king, Cepheus, located right below her in the sky. The faintness of Cepheus combined with its location close to the horizon makes it nigh on impossible to spot in Singapore. Moving on, we head to Perseus, a constellation named after the mythological founder of the great city of Mycenae and slayer of Medusa. As you may have realized, most of the Northern Hemisphere constellations have names originating from Greek mythologies. As most constellation names are based off Western star lore, many constellations and stars have Greek, Arabic, and Latin names. For example, this star is Murphic, the brightest in Perseus, while this is Algol, nicknamed the Demon Star, as it changes brightness over time. Between Cassiopeia and Perseus is the double cluster. It is a close pair of two separate star clusters, and it is truly a magnificent sight to behold. In ancient Greece, it was thought that this cluster represented the jeweled handle of the sword Perseus used to slay Medusa. To find it, simply extend a line from these stars in Cassiopeia onwards to reach the double cluster. Due west from Perseus is the constellation Andromeda. Andromeda is the daughter of Cassiopeia and Cepheus and is home to the most breathtaking sights in the night sky, the Andromeda Galaxy. It's the closest large galaxy to the Milky Way, lying 2 to 3 million light years away from us. That being, light from the Andromeda Galaxy will have to travel for 2 to 3 million years before it will reach Earth. As a spiral galaxy, its large and majestic arms swirl away from the central bulge, replete in its cosmic splendor. Not far from Andromeda is the famous potential next destination of humanity, Mars. Mars is a rocky planet, covered with iron oxide similar to rust, therefore giving it a distinct red color.
Now, turn your eyes to the east. There, you will see one of the most iconic constellations in the night sky, Orion. The hunter namesake is depicted by 4 stars arranged in a rectangle, representing his limbs, and 3 collinear stars in the middle, representing his belt. The bright red star at Orion's left shoulder is known as Betelgeuse. As a variable star, it periodically increases and decreases in brightness over time. Furthermore, it is a red supergiant star approaching the end of its lifetime. It is predicted that Betelgeuse will undergo a supernova within the next million years, becoming so bright that it is visible even during the day for a few months. The rest of the stars in Orion are also among the brightest in the night sky and are easily visible to the naked eye. However, that is not all there is to Orion. Using the telescope and binoculars, we can take a closer look at what other interesting objects lie in this rich area of sky. Peer just below Orion's belt, and you might be able to catch a glimpse of a sword-like object. That is in fact the Great Orion Nebula, commonly known to astronomers as Messier 42. It is one of the brightest nebulae in the night sky, and should be visible to the naked eye under clear dark skies. Located 1,300 light-years away from Earth, it is the closest star-forming region to us, and it has granted humanity insight into stellar and planetary formation. Through a binoculars or telescope, you might be able to spot a purplish hue, which is the gas in the nebula re-emitting light from nearby stars. Another nebula known as Demiron's Nebula is also located in that region. Now, Orion's belt upwards. A V-shaped cluster of stars known as the Hyades should be seen, along with a bright red star known as Aldebaran. It is the brightest star of the constellation Taurus, which has the Hyades at its center. Taurus is one of the 12 zodiac constellations and lies on the ecliptic, which is the path the sun traces across the celestial sphere. It is shaped like the head of a bull and is one of the oldest constellations, dating back to the early Bronze Age. Taurus is intriguing as it also contains another star cluster, Pleiades, better known as the Seven Sisters, one of the brightest star clusters in the sky, containing 7 prominent blue stars. It is quite easily visible to the naked eye and is located just past Hyades on the line from Orion's belt. Now let's go back to Orion's belt and follow the line in the other direction.
While extending the star towards the horizon, we eventually reach a bright star. This star is Sirius, the brightest star in the night sky. It is part of the constellation of Canis Major, which means the greater dog in Latin. Its brightness is a result of its proximity to us, and it has a faint companion, known as Sirius B, which is a dimmer white dwarf. As the other stars in this constellation may not be visible due to light pollution, the shape of a dog may be hard to recognize. Beside Canis Major, one may be able to find another bright yellow star. This is Procyon, the brightest star in Canis Minor, or the smaller dog. It is a constellation that contains only 2 bright stars, one that we see now, Procyon, and Gomesa, a slightly dimmer star nearby. Procyon and Sirius, the brightest stars in Canis Minor and Major respectively, form part of the asterism known as Winter Hexagon, which consists of 6 brighter stars in 6 different winter constellations: Rigel in Orion to Sirius in Canis Major, Procyon in Canis Minor, Pollux in Gemini, Capella in Auriga, and Aldebaran in Taurus.
Now, if we head south, we see this patchwork of stars across the sky. This is Eridanus, the celestial river. Despite its length, it is but the 6th largest constellation in the night sky. At its southern tip lies the brightest star in this constellation, Achernar. It is the 9th brightest star in the night sky. This leads us to the southern half of the celestial sphere. Most of the objects in the southern hemisphere has names that are less descriptive and storied. They are typically named after what they seem to represent or resemble to observers, specifically sailors and cartographers. Sadly, we won't be able to spot the famed Southern Cross tonight, but we can observe a similarly beautiful object, a faithful companion to the Milky Way, the Small Magellanic Cloud. It is a dwarf galaxy orbiting the Milky Way, which was first catalogued by the Arabs in the early 16th century. And with that, this marks an end to a brief introduction and tour around the night sky. I hope you've learned something about the beautiful cosmos, and may your observation session be clear of rain and clouds, and happy observing.